We're streaming live on YouTube. Can we go on the record?
We're on a record, Your Honor.
We're on the record in case number 9799, which is captioned in the matter of the application of TPE MD KE77 LLC for a certificate of public convenience and necessity to construct a 5-megawatt solar photovoltaic generating facility in Kent County, Maryland. Let's take appearances, starting with the applicant.
Good morning, Your Honor. Maggie Witherup on behalf of the applicant, and present with me is Carl Weber, also on behalf of the applicant.
Good morning. Power Plant Research Program.
Morning, Your Honor. Assistant Attorney General Steve Tolson on behalf of the Department of Natural Resources Power Plant Research Program.
Good morning to you and staff.
Good morning, Ruthie Herman. On behalf of staff, I wish to also enter the appearance of Jennifer Purvis. That's P-U-R-V as in Victor I-S. Jennifer Purvis on behalf of staff. Thank you.
Okay, Kent County petitioned to intervene in this case.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any information about their attendance at this hearing?
I have not heard from them, Your Honor.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, you stated you hadn't heard from Kent County about whether
Correct.
they intended to participate today.
They did petition to intervene, which Your Honor granted, and I don't believe they've filed anything in the case since then.
Okay, any preliminary matters we need to take up before we get started?
Nothing from the applicant, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Nothing from staff. Thank you.
Okay, I think it would be most helpful if Christopher Martin would go first, if that's okay with you.
Sure. Would you like us to mark the applicant's exhibits for identification first?
Sure.
All right, so we have provided a list of the exhibits, but for purposes of the record, applicant exhibit 1 is the application for CPCN that was filed on July 1st, 2025 under mail log 320082. Applicant exhibit 2 is the environmental review document filed with the CPCN application on July 1, 2025, which was filed at mail log 320082. Applicant Exhibit 3 is the appendices 6.01 to 6.18 to the environmental review document that was filed on July 1, 2025 under mail log 320082. Applicant Exhibit 4 is an updated environmental review document and concept site plan, which was filed on August 6, 2025 and filed under mail log 321061. Applicant Exhibit 5 is a certificate of publication for the pre-hearing conference, which was filed on September 15th, 2025 under mail log 322370. Applicant Exhibit 6 is a direct testimony of Christopher Martin, which was filed on November 20th, 2025 under mail log 324627. Applicant Exhibit 7 is the direct testimony of Babak Bob Malik, filed on November 20th, 25, under mail log 324627. Applicant Exhibit 8 is the certificates of publication for the virtual public comment hearing that was filed on December 8th, 2025, under mail log 325133. Applicant Exhibit 9 is the amended direct testimony of Frances Uhas, which was filed on January 7th, 2026, under mail log 325914.
Because you're not entering her original direct.
That's correct.
Okay, proceed.
Applicant Exhibit 10 is the supplemental direct testimony of Frances Uhas, filed on March 12, 2026, under mail log 327832. Applicant Exhibit 11 is the supplemental direct testimony of Christopher Martin, filed on March 12, 2026, under mail log 327832. Applicant Exhibit 12 is the applicant response to PPRP data request number 7 with exhibits that was filed on March 27, 2026, under mail log 328370. Applicant Exhibit 13 is the certificates of publication for the first community public meeting, which was filed on March 31st, 2026, under mail log 328455. Applicant Exhibit 14 is the certificates of publication for the evening public comment hearing, which was filed on April 15th, 2026, filed under mail log 329025. Applicant Exhibit 15 is the sign affidavit for the evening public comment hearing, which was filed on April 17th, 2026, under mail log 329107. Applicant Exhibit 16 is the response to the Public Utility Law Judge's request to show cause with attached DPL engineering cost letter, which was filed on May 1st, 2026, under mail log 329653. Applicant Exhibit 17 is the certificates of publication for the second community public meeting filed on May 5th, 2026, under mail log 329788. Applicant Exhibit 18 is the second supplemental testimony of Francis Uhas with exhibits filed on May 11th, 2026, filed at mail log 329929. Applicant Exhibit 19 is the applicant's response to bench data request number 1, which was filed on June 2nd, 2026, under mail log 330756.
And you're including all of the attachments?
Yes.
collectively?
For purposes of reference at this hearing, we've labeled each of the exhibits separately as 19A through 19L. And I've included tabs for them in the binder so that the witnesses would be able to refer to them more easily.
Okay.
So Exhibit 19A was attachment 1-10 to the applicant's response to bench data request number 1, which is also filed at mail log 330756. Applicant Exhibit 19B was attachment 1-11 to the applicant's response to bench data request number 1, filed at mail log 330756. Applicant Exhibit 19C is attachment 1-13 to the applicant's responses to bench data request number 1, also filed at mail log 330756. Applicant Exhibit 19D is attachment 1-14 to the applicant's responses to bench data request number 1, also filed at mail log 330756. Applicant Exhibit 19E is attachment 1-15 to the applicant's responses to bench data request number 1, filed at mail log 330756. Applicant Exhibit 19F is attachment 1-16 to the applicant's responses to bench data request number 1, filed at mail log 330756. Applicant Exhibit 19G is attachment 1-19 to the applicant's responses to bench data request number 1, filed at mail log 330756. Applicant Exhibit 19H is attachment 1-23 to the applicant's responses to bench data request number 1, filed at mail log 330756. Applicant Exhibit 19I is attachment 1-25B to the applicant's responses to bench data request number 1, also filed at mail log 330756. Applicant Exhibit 19J is attachment 1-25A to the applicant's responses to bench data request number 1, also filed at mail log 330756. Applicant Exhibit 19K is attachment 1-26 to the applicant's responses to bench data request number 1, also filed at mail log 330756. And applicant's Exhibit 19L is attachment 1-28 to the applicant's responses to bench data request number 1, also filed at mail log 330756.
Okay, a couple points of clarification. Exhibit 19B, which is attachment 1-11, includes 1-11A and 1-11B, correct?
That's correct. We combined them.
Then the environmental review document that was filed that you just referenced,
Yes.
if you look at it, it says August 2025, updated September 2025, updated October 2025, updated February 2026, updated June 2026. So the first date of August 2025 is after the application was filed, so there must even be an earlier version, correct?
There is an earlier version dated July 2025, which I had marked as applicant exhibit 2, which is the version that was filed with the applicant CPCN application.
Okay.
Guess I'm not sure why exhibit 19A didn't reference that, but yes, there was an earlier version. It's been amended several times.
And then the one that you're including as attachment, or I'm sorry, exhibit 19I would be the one updated June 2026?
That's correct.
So the interim ones are not necessarily in the record?
That's correct. I did not include the October 2025 or February 2026 versions, although we're happy to provide them if Your Honor wants them.
No, just so the record's clear. Okay,
Yes.
did you finish up with 2021 and 2022?
I finished up Exhibit 19.
Okay.
Just continuing on briefly, applicant's Exhibit 20 is the applicant's status update filed on July 2nd, 2026, under mail log 331768. Applicant Exhibit 21 is the direct testimony of Joseph Phillip, filed on July 2nd, 2026, under mail log 331772. And applicant Exhibit 22 is the applicant's status update filed on July 16, 2026, under mail log 332205.
Okay, all of those exhibits will be marked.
Thank you, Your Honor. If Your Honor desires, we would move that they be entered into evidence.
I'd prefer that you get them in through a witness.
Okay, we can do that. And Your Honor wanted to start with witness Christopher Martin.
Yes, if that's okay with you.
That's fine, Your Honor. The applicant calls Christopher Martin.
Yes, please.
Yes, take that up to the stand.
Good morning. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to the penalty of
I'll admit
perjury,
19, all the ones that are
nothing but the truth and the testimony that you
I'll just have him authenticate.
Could you please state and spell your first and last name?
Christopher Martin, CHRISTOPHER, last name Martin, MARTIN.
Thank you.
May I begin, Your Honor? Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Martin. Would you please state your full name for the record?
Christopher Martin.
Thank you. And sir, what is your position with the project?
I'm a civil engineer with Kimley Horn.
Now, I'd like to direct your attention to what has been previously marked as applicant's Exhibit 6. Is this the direct testimony that was filed on your behalf?
It is.
And was this prepared by you or under your supervision?
It was.
If I asked you those same questions today, would your answers be the same?
They would.
Do you have any changes or additions you'd like to make?
I do not.
I would also like you to take a look at what's been previously marked as applicant's Exhibit 11.
Okay.
Is this your supplemental direct testimony?
It is.
Was this prepared by you or under your supervision as well?
It was.
And if I asked you those same questions today, would your answers be the same?
Yes, except one thing, there's been an update to the project limits of disturbance That differs from what was stated in that testimony. Otherwise, everything's the same.
Okay, and what is the update to that limit of disturbance?
The limits of disturbance have changed from 49.2 acres to 45.6 acres through coordination with the landowner.
Thank you. Are there any other changes you would like to make?
That's all.
All right. Thank you. Yes. Now, Your Honor, applicant would move to enter exhibits 6 and 11 into evidence at this time.
Any objections?
No objections.
No objections, thank you.
Okay, applicant exhibits 6 and 11 are admitted.
Mr. Martin, according to your direct testimony, you are sponsoring certain sections and appendices to the environmental review document that you assisted drafting. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Did you sponsor sections of the original environmental review document attached as Exhibit 2?
I did.
Thank you. And if you would turn to Exhibit 2, please. Were these prepared by you or under your supervision?
They were.
And if, if you were asked similarly about those today, would you prepare them in the same way?
I would.
Do you have any changes or additions that you would like to make?
Not at this time.
And if you would turn to what's been marked as Exhibit 3.
Okay.
Those, the appendices 6.01 to 6.18 of the environmental review document? Are these also prepared by you or under your supervision?
Some of them were.
Specifically, appendices 6, 6.2, 6.4 to 6.6.
Yes.
6.8 to 6.10, 6.13 to 6.20.
It got turned off somehow, sorry. It's on now.
So I'd repeat 6.13 to 6.20
Yes.
and 6.22.
Yes.
Exhibit 3 only goes to 6.18.
Oh, my apologies. Please disregard 6.20 and 22.
Excuse me, Your Honor. I also thought I heard counsel for the applicant describing 6.4. Did she mean to say 6.04? So I was wondering about that too.
I did. My apologies.
No problem. I just
04, 02, 0 to all the single digits. And then 6.13 to 6.18.
Yes.
Thank you. So were these specifically prepared by you or under your supervision?
They were.
And if preparing these now, would your answers be the same?
They would.
Do you have any changes or additions that you would like to make?
Not at this time.
All right, thank you. And if you would please turn your attention to what's been marked as Exhibit 4. And that is the updated environmental review document and conceptual site plan from August 6th of 2025.
Yes.
Similarly, was this prepared by you or under your supervision?
It was.
And if preparing today, would your answers be the same?
They would.
Do you have any changes or additions you'd like to make?
Not at this time.
All right. Now, if I could turn your attention to what's been previously marked as Exhibit 19. 19I.
Okay.
Is this the updated environmental review document?
It is.
Thank you. Did you prepare, or was this prepared by you or under your supervision?
It was.
And if preparing today, would you respond in the same way?
I would.
Do you have any changes or additions you would like to make?
Not at this time.
Thank you. And are all of these sections of the environmental review document true and accurate copies of the sections that you assisted in preparing?
Yes, they are.
Did you also assist in preparing responses to data requests from PPRP?
I did.
Can I turn your attention, please, to Exhibit 12? That is the applicant's response to PPRP's data request number 7.
Yes.
Now, are the responses that you are identified as the sponsoring witness for true and correct copies of your responses to those questions?
Yes, they are.
And if asked the same questions today, would your answers be the same?
Yes, except I'd like to point out the response that mentions the limits of disturbance, as I mentioned before, that was updated following those responses. So I would amend that limits of disturbance, but otherwise my answers would remain the same.
Thank you. Are there any other changes or additions that you'd like to make?
Not at this time.
All right, and if I could turn your attention to what's been marked as Exhibit 19, which is the applicant's responses to bench data request number 1. Did you assist in preparing responses to the bench data requests?
I did.
And are the responses where you are identified as the sponsoring witness true and correct copies of your responses to those questions?
They are.
If asked those questions today, would your answers be the same?
They would.
Do you have any changes or corrections that you would like to make?
Not at this time.
All right, and if I could turn your attention to what's been marked as Exhibit 15. That is the sign affidavit for the evening public comment hearing.
Yes.
Now, do you recognize this document?
I do.
Do you recall taking, well, first, do you recall putting up signs for the public comment hearing?
I do.
Do you recall taking pictures of those signs?
Yes, I do.
And are the photos there true and accurate copies of the photos you took?
Yes, they are.
Do you also recall signing an affidavit explaining that you took those pictures?
I do.
And is what you're looking at a true and correct copy of that affidavit?
It is.
Thank you. Your Honor, the applicant would move to enter Exhibit 15 into evidence.
Any objections?
No objection.
No objections, but what about 2, 3, 4, 19I, 12, and 19? I guess they'll get
Not
to
your
that.
problem.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Applicant Exhibit 15 is admitted.
Thank you. One moment, please, Your Honor. Okay. And Mr. Martin, going back to what's been marked as Exhibit 19I, that's the updated ERD and appendices.
Yes.
Now there we have appendices 6.20 and 6.22. Did you sponsor those?
I did.
All right. And are they true and accurate?
They are.
Wonderful. Okay, and while we're on 19, I would like to draw your attention to 19A. That is that nearest resident map.
Yes,
Was this prepared by you or under your supervision?
it was.
And is it true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
It is.
All right. And for 19B, that is the view shed analysis, landscape buffer renderings, and site views.
Yes,
Was this prepared by you or under your supervision?
it was.
And is it true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
It is.
All right. And for 19C, that is the revised site plan.
Yes,
Was this prepared by you or under your supervision?
it was.
And is it true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, it is.
All right. Now 19D is heritage map and PPA maps.
Yes,
All right. Was this also prepared by you or under your supervision?
they were. Yes,
All right. And are they true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
they are.
Turning then to 19E is the Kent County Regulation Summary.
Yes,
Was this also prepared by you or under your supervision?
it was.
And is it true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
It is.
All right. Turning to 19F. This is the pollinator planting location plan.
Yes,
Is this also prepared by you or under your supervision?
it was.
And is it true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
It is.
Turning to 19G. This is the decommissioning plan.
Yes,
Is this prepared by you or under your supervision?
it was.
And is it true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
It is.
Okay, and then finally looking to 19L. It's the MHTAP coordination.
Yes,
Was this prepared by you or under your supervision?
it was.
Is it true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
It is.
I have a question.
Yes, Your Honor.
He didn't, I don't understand, he prepared this? It's an email. Aren't you talking about the email chain? Maybe you need to take a closer look. I think you need to ask him a slightly different question. You might have prepared the email, but
Mr. Martin, do you recognize this email chain?
I do.
And do you recall sending it or being a part of this email chain?
I do.
Thank you. And are the emails referenced here an accurate depiction of the emails that you were participating in?
Yes, they are.
Thank you. Your Honor, at this point, we would ask to move Exhibits 19A through G and 19L into evidence.
okay, with respect to 19, it's the portions he sponsored, correct?
Yes.
And then through G, you skipped I on purpose?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and then L.
Yes.
Okay, any objections to applicant's exhibits 19, the portions this witness sponsored, and then 19A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and L coming into the record?
No objection.
No objections from staff. Thank you.
Okay, applicant's exhibits 19, to the extent he sponsored those portions of the response to bench data request number 1 will come in, as will 19A, 19B, 19C, 19D, 19E, 19F, 19G, and 19L.
Thank you, Your Honor. With that, Mr. Martin is available for cross-examination.
Okay, the other exhibit, I believe you had him identify, was 12. And 2 and 3 and 4, you want to wait on those?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Any cross-examination of this witness?
No cross.
No cross. Thank you.
Mr. Martin,
Yes, Your Honor.
I would like to confirm that the latest, most up-to-date site plan is the one that was filed in the docket on June 2nd. It's dated April 22nd of '26. It's, should be 19C.
Since that has been filed, the applicant has submitted site plans to Kent County for major site plan review. Between April and June, when that major site plan was submitted for review, there were minor site updates, one of those being the limits of disturbance. But otherwise, the April concept site plan is the most recent filed on the docket.
Okay. I was my understanding that the update to the limited disturbance, you said that it was based on negotiations with the landowner. I thought that had to do with the laydown area earlier in the case? Different?
That was prior to the more recent discussions with the landowner. The limits of disturbance were reduced following the April concept site plan to make updates to the lease area in the lease agreement.
Can you be more specific?
The applicant and the landowner were in discussions to reduce the limits of disturbance to get as close to 45 acres as possible, down from 49 acres.
Did it have any impact on the number of panels?
It did not. The panels didn't change. It was mostly bringing in the actual limits of disturbance line on the plan closer to the access drive, as well as taking part of the laydown area outside of the limits of disturbance.
So just to be clear, the laydown area is not considered part of the limited disturbance?
The northern one is not, no.
I believe you've proposed a 35-foot wide landscape buffer. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Can you describe what's in that 35 feet of width and where I can find the latest version of the landscape plan?
Yes, the landscape plan has not changed since the April filing of the site plan, but the 35-foot width landscape buffer is comprised of a combination of deciduous, evergreen, and understory shrubs, as well as the Ernst solar pollinator buffer mix for ground cover, or an approved equal at the time of installation.
Okay, when I'm looking at the site plan, it's, it indicates, I guess, page 1 of 2, but it's only one page, what was filed in the docket. Is that correct?
Page 2 of 2 should be the landscape details for the project.
Okay, attachment 1-13 to the responses to the bench data request, it's just one page, I believe, Council. That's all I'm pulling up. So that's why I don't have the landscape plan.
That wasn't filed, that was an oversight. It should have been included both pages. That is what I have in my exhibit binder as well, Your Honor.
I have a landscape detail sheet I can provide you. It's from our major site plan submittal to the county, but it matches what was included with the concept site plan.
Did you want to see this, Council, before I mark it?
Yes, Your Honor. May I approach?
And you can quickly show it to us if they want to see it. Why does this site plan that I'm looking at, again, it's attachment 1-13, so it's 19C. At the bottom corner, it says limited disturbance, 240. I'd have to blow it up, but it's obviously more than the limited disturbance you just told me. So that seems like the whole property, right? Do you see that? Just
Sorry, Honor, you said top right.
no, bottom right of the site plan. Oh, it's a plus or minus. Sorry, I can see it now that I blow it up.
Oh, yes,
All right, so that's the old limited disturbance.
correct.
Plus or minus 49.2. So, council, do you want me to mark this as a bench exhibit, or would you like to mark it as something? Because it was not part of your exhibit.
Your Honor, if you'd like to mark it at a bench exhibit, that would be fine. Thank you.
Okay. The second page of the site plan that was filed on June 2nd, we bench exhibit 1. Can you show me on the first page where the existing vegetation is between 45 and 60 feet in height?
Yes, you're on. You said 45 to 60 feet in height.
Yeah, I don't, I can get the reference for you. It's in response to a BDR. It's response to 1-12. I'm talking about the updated glare analysis. The applicant incorporated all existing vegetation at a height of 45 to 60 feet using Google Earth or LiDAR information consistent with field conditions and modeled the proposed landscape buffer at 4 feet. That's about the middle of the page. Again, response to 1-12.
Yes, Your Honor. That's in reference to, on the site plan, the southeast corner, the area denoted as a non-tidal wetland. That is an area of existing vegetation that's to remain per discussions with the landowner.
Okay, I see reference to non-tidal wetland, and it's along the east edge, and then that kind of heads south, and then there's an area of green. So do you mean the area along the east edge, or do you mean the green area in the southeast corner?
So that the narrow non-tidal wetland is a linear wetland that feeds into a larger non-tidal wetland to the south of that narrow line. So if you could look closely at the site plan, you would see a line type that says NW, which stands for non-tidal wetland. It wraps around the narrow non-tidal wetland as well as the larger, I guess, non-linear wetland at the southeast corner of the property. And although that's marked as a wetland, there's existing vegetation of height exceeding 45 feet in that southeast corner.
But just in the southeast corner, not where it's labeled on the site plan non-tidal wetland above that.
That's correct.
Okay, so just in the very southeast corner where it's green dotted,
Yes, that green dotted
where
hatch.
and then if you look at the legend, it says existing wetland.
Correct.
So just that area is existing vegetation between 45 and 60 feet in height?
That's correct, and I would have to confirm, but I believe the property to the west as well, directly adjacent to the solar array, has existing vegetation exceeding 45 feet in height.
Off the property? Right,
Off the property, yes, sorry.
Okay, what do you consider to be the most up-to-date view shed analysis for this project?
The most up-to-date view shed analysis for the project would be Exhibit 19B. This is a view shed rendering analysis that was prepared in response to bench data request number 1, and that would be the most up-to-date rendering analysis. The most up-to-date view shed analysis.
Okay, just to clarify, is there a portion of it that's a view shed analysis, or is the entire package, the landscape buffer renderings and the site views, all comprise the view shed analysis?
For Exhibit 19B, the renderings comprise the entire view shed analysis. These were meant to be supplemental to the original view shed analysis that was prepared in response to a prior PPRP data request, because the view shed analysis has not changed since we prepared it for that PPRP data request. And I can find the specific response number if that would be helpful.
That's okay. I just wanted to make sure that Exhibit 19B is what you consider to be the most up-to-date view shed analysis.
Yes, that in conjunction with the view shed analysis prepared to a prior PPRP data request. So I would say 19B, I would not call the view shed analysis. That would be the view shed renderings, which are supplemental to the view shed analysis prepared for a prior PPRP data request.
Okay, so then what would you consider to be the most up-to-date view shed analysis for the project? Because I would note that this exhibit, it's labeled View Shed 1 from Lambs Meadow Road on the first page.
Those view sheds are labeled to match the same view sheds as the prior view shed analysis, because the bench data request requested additional photo renderings for the same view sheds that were provided for the PPRP data request, which I apologize. I had this pulled up.
I believe we're looking at Exhibit 12, if that's helpful.
Yes, that's correct. Exhibit 12, PPRP data request number 7, dated March 27th, 2026, item number 7-3. The updated view shed analysis was provided as attachment B.
You're talking about the line drawings? at
Correct.
The bottom of the site plan?
That's correct, yes.
And it's your testimony that provides a sufficient view shed analysis for this project?
It is, yes, in addition to the photo renderings provided as a response to bench data request number 1.
Okay, I don't want to be difficult, but I do want your testimony and the record to be clear.
Yes.
Does the view shed analysis that is Exhibit 12, is that the most up-to-date view shed analysis, or is it only complete when adding the landscape renderings that are Exhibit 19B?
Exhibit 12 is the most up-to-date view shed analysis.
But then you said, when added to the landscape buffer renderings. Do you take back that testimony?
Yes, Your Honor, I'll take that back. I suppose it's a separate deliverable is the photo renderings requested as part of the bench data request number 1. So the most up-to-date view shed analysis would be Exhibit 12.
Tell me again how the two relate.
The view shed analysis in Exhibit 12 was provided as a response to PPRP data request number 7. In PPRP data request number 7, PPRP requested that the applicant update the view shed analysis to reflect the updated landscape buffer location. Later, the bench data request number 1 was received, and it was requested to provide a view shed analysis with observation points at the nearest wall of each residential dwelling. Later requests photo renderings from each observation point. So the photo rendering plan provided in Exhibit 19 uses the same observation points from the view shed exhibit provided in Exhibit 12 and provides photo renderings from those 4 locations.
And what you've said is still an up-to-date view shed analysis as shown in Exhibit 12. View shed 1 is of a cornfield, correct? With the corn stalks at the full height?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. And is your testimony that that provides an accurate view shed analysis?
Yeah, at the time the photo was taken, yes, that provides an accurate view shed analysis.
Is there always corn at that height in that field?
My understanding is that following cultivation, that is not the case. But like I said, at the time the photo was taken, the corn happened to be there.
And I believe in a response somewhere else, it indicated that the view shed analysis that was done originally used a height of 3.5 feet.
That's correct.
And the 3.5 feet is?
That's representative of eye height of somebody sitting in a vehicle driving by the site.
So we're only concerned about someone in a vehicle from all these views?
That's what our analysis was assuming, since we took the view sheds from the nearest point in the right-of-way, which happened to be along public roads surrounding the site in the 4 cardinal directions.
Did you conduct the glare analysis?
I did not.
Are you aware that when the glare analysis was conducted, a much higher height was used to represent second story of a residence? Does that sound familiar?
Yes, that does sound familiar.
And 3.5 feet, is that a sedan, a pickup truck? Do you know? The
I
type
don't-
of vehicle that would be driving on this road?
I don't believe we used a particular type of vehicle. That's what has been used in prior view shed analyses.
Do you know whether a person sitting in a pickup truck sits at a height of 3.5 feet?
Can't say for sure.
So turning to Exhibit 19B that you prepared,
Yes.
can you tell me how that was done?
These photo renderings were prepared using a rendering software for which the proposed vegetation was inserted at the height it is anticipated to be at installation, 2 years and 5 years growth, with existing vegetation shown to what's believed to be accurate heights surrounding the array, as well as the array shown beyond the vegetative buffer at the height of the proposed panels with the current spec that we have used.
What's the software?
I'm sorry, I'd have to get that information for you. I don't have that with me.
And is the analysis, does it start with a photograph taken from the point? Like this, the first page of the analysis appears to be a view from Lambs Meadow Road looking north. So does it start with a photograph?
The software used is able to model the existing conditions based on aerial imagery in addition to photographs. So the view from Lambs Meadow Road is not the same image that was taken and provided in a previous exhibit. That is not a photo that was taken on site.
What is it?
That's a photo rendering of the existing conditions based on information pulled from the modeling software.
You prepared the analysis, correct?
Yes. What prepared under my supervision, yes.
So can you tell me a little bit more about how we arrive at what we're looking at? The inputs?
Yeah, so the software that's used, it takes a photo of the existing conditions. It could be taken from street view or aerially. In this case, it's taken street view. It provides a rendering of the existing conditions, and then from that point, the proposed landscape buffer and the proposed solar array are provided in the rendering based on their location on the site.
You said the software takes a photo or uses I didn't, how does the software come up with this view?
The software is able to combine, I guess, resources like Google Earth to take a photo and provide a rendering at a location based on Google Earth imagery and Street View imagery.
Okay. Then you put in the distance to the panels?
Yes, based on the...
Or do you feed it the site plan? I'm not sure.
No, based on the... I guess based on the existing conditions rendering, we're able to put the distance away that the panels are, as well as the landscape buffer, based on the line of sight analysis, and it provides a photo rendering of those proposed conditions at that distance from the point of the rendering or the image taken.
Do you have the photo renderings in front of you?
I do.
Okay, so I'm looking at the first page of 12. And here, thankfully, the corn is gone, so we have a view of the panels. Are they brown in this picture?
The panels...
When I zoom in, they appear to be a shade of brown.
sorry, it's a little bit smaller in front of me. I don't believe. I don't believe the panels are brown. That is either vegetation. Thank you, Your Honor. The panels are kind of black in this image. From one angle, these are the panels here, these kind of peaks, and then over here, that brown is vegetation.
This brown is vegetation?
I believe that is the case here. Well, from what I tell, those should be the panels. I think they're facing a different direction than the ones I was pointing to. So they're reflecting a different color based on the angle of the sun.
So to be clear, to the left of that picture, on the first page of Exhibit 19B, the brown is the underside of solar panels? Sort of brownish purple.
I would have to confirm in the rendering software. I don't believe those are panels to the left side of that image. I believe that's part of the landscape buffer. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble seeing because it's the
Okay.
The
It
images.
doesn't seem like it would be landscape buffer, only because there's sort of some brown purple, then you see sky, and then you see more brown purple. So that doesn't seem like that would be landscape buffer to me. And in addition, I see green. I see some taller trees in a lighter green spaced pretty far apart, and then some darker green look to be evergreens between those larger, lighter green trees that look to be a landscape buffer. And then I do see to the right side of the picture, between the taller light green trees, the smaller shrubs start to appear to be a brown shade. But to the left side of the picture, it doesn't make sense to me that that would be landscape buffer, for the reasons I stated, the sky appearing between it.
I see what you're saying. I believe it's also a matter of the topography. That portion of the site is a little bit higher than to the right of the site. So I think as you go up from right to left, the topography increases. And so therefore the brown of the trees may be a little bit higher. Once again, I'm sorry, I can't see the picture fully, and I could confirm that for you. Taking a closer look at the rendering, but I believe that's vegetation.
But if we look at the site plan, the panels go all the way to the left edge of the property, do they not?
Of that portion of the property, yes.
So do you see on the right side, what you pointed out as black? That's the solar panels, right?
Yes.
And then as you move closer to the arrow and to the left of the arrow, you still see some panels.
Yes.
And then what happens? Are you saying the panels stop?
No, the panels shouldn't stop. They keep going all the way to that existing vegetation on the left side.
Okay, but there's kind of a gap, isn't there? Do you see how the panels are, it makes sense around the arrow and to the left of the arrow. It makes
Yes.
sense, but then there's a gap. There's no panels. and then it comes up again.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, Your Honor. So that could, the brown to the left of that central arrow could be panels. I would have to confirm that for you.
Please,
Yes, Your Honor.
that would, whatever BDR we're up to, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor.
What's the large building to the right?
That's,
I don't recall seeing something like that when I was out there.
I believe that's an existing building on one of the neighboring properties to the northeast. Although it might look slightly different in the rendering.
A little bit larger than any building I recall seeing. You have a site plan which shows the area of buildings, right?
Yeah, Your Honor, based on the rendering, I can't tell how far in the distance that building is, but I could confirm which building that's meant to be in the rendering.
Looks like it might want to be the residence located at 27764 and 27766 Lambs Meadow Road. But I think it's a residence, not whatever that appears to be.
Your Honor, I don't believe that building is meant to represent the buildings at 27764 and 27766. The existing vegetation you can see on the right side of the screen is existing vegetation to the northeast of the solar array. So this building would be farther to the northeast beyond the site.
So on the map that I'm looking at, site plan, it'd be the structure located the farthest northeast that is not labeled and it's off the map.
Yes, I don't think it's even on the site plan if you're referring to Exhibit 19C. Oh, yes. Yes, Your Honor. I think it would be referring to these over here.
This was something that you produced. It's labeled neighboring residential property map.
Yes.
So is that Exhibit 19A?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so on Exhibit 19A, it's your testimony that the structure shown in the landscape rendering is the structure to the northeast corner, not labeled on Exhibit 19A.
Yes, to the best of my knowledge, that's what that structure is.
What's the applicant's plan for watering the newly installed landscape buffer?
On our landscape details, which were submitted as an exhibit to the bench, Your Honor, we provide a watering plan for Kent County review. I believe it's the bottom left of that sheet. It provides intervals at which newly planted vegetation should be watered and by whom. In most cases, it's the contractor or a contractor specified by the applicant or project owner to provide watering at the specified intervals until the vegetation is, settled.
Do you know how long that takes?
I believe we estimate maturity to occur at around 5 years.
Maturity occurs at 5 years, but when can you stop watering the landscape buffer? It says after 12 weeks, water weekly until roots are established on your landscape maintenance and watering notes on Bench Exhibit 1.
So that's what's required for the plan. However, project owner is required to maintain the landscaping for the life of the project. So on an as-needed basis, the watering would occur.
But you don't know how long it takes until roots are established, correct?
I don't have that answer at this time, no.
Do you know how long project construction is?
I would defer that answer to the applicant.
Back to the renderings. When we get to page 4, now the view is from the west, looking east, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you explain to me why we see a cornfield?
Because the existing property is being farmed on the other side of the, I guess, separate property that bisects the larger property.
Okay, let's back up.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere in here you have where this picture is taken from. It's in the upper right corner, right, of page 4?
Yes.
There's a big red arrow, and then the words approx location of photo, right?
Yes,
So where's the photo taken from?
I apologize. That might be misleading. The photo's taken from Bloomfield Road.
That's
or-
extremely misleading. Why was the photo taken from Bloomfield Road?
Because that's the nearest point in the public right-of-way with a view shed into the project that we used.
So we don't know what the project will look like from the property that is the residential structure on which is 274 feet to the nearest panel, correct?
We don't have a view shed for that property or a rendering for, I guess, the edge of that property.
'Cause in fact, this photo was taken north of that red arrow, correct?
No, the photo was taken
Isn't there existing vegetation on that piece of property that sits
Yes.
between where this photo was taken? If that existing vegetation is there, this photo wouldn't show anything. So that's why the photo, or whatever the software information it gathered, it must have gathered it from a point on Bloomfield Road north of your arrow to get above the existing vegetation at that property, correct? And above the farm buildings.
No, Your Honor, the existing vegetation to the right represents the entire length of that middle property that bisects the subject property. And then to the left of that existing vegetation is the portion of the array that we can see, with the existing vegetation on the left being that, that vegetation to the northeast of the array.
Do you know how far away this is?
Approximately 2,000 feet, if not more.
Would you say there's a difference between the view from 2,000 feet away and the view from 274 feet away?
Yes, I'd say that view would be different.
View shed 4 is from the east looking west, correct?
That's correct.
And how far away are we in this one? Where's the rendering supposed to be taken from? Is it all the way at the road?
No, that rendering was taken from it's near the Beverly C. Phillip property, which was approximately 1,800 feet away.
This shows existing vegetation, and then it says proposed solar array and landscape buffer between the two sections of existing vegetation,
Yes,
correct?
Your Honor.
But the uniformity of that, you think that's what we can see in this very extremely far away photo rendering is panels or trees? Or both?
A combination of panels and trees.
And then towards the right, the panel is above the trees, right? I'm on page 10 of 12, I happen to be.
Yes, on page 10, yes.
And to clarify the points of observation, the heights for all of this, I know it was done by software, but is it still that 3.5 feet?
Yes, that was the height that was used throughout the whole viewshed analysis.
So the county had a comment about overhead lines, and they wanted everything to be underground except when necessary to connect to the public utility. Do you recall that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then you produced a chart, which I think you sponsored. Yes, it was you. And on that chart, item in the section 4.2, Item 4, transmission wires to connect the project to the utility infrastructure shall not cross a roadway overhead. Project complying, yes or no? You said no. And then in the notes, you have superseded by PUA 7-218. Do you see that?
I do. That may have been entered in error. I believe that's supposed to be not applicable since the overhead wires are not transmission wires. Therefore, the wires crossing the road are allowed per Kent County standards.
Okay, so the reference to supersede by PUA 7-218 is an error.
Yes.
How does the landscape buffer provide year-round visual screening?
The combination of the different types of vegetation between the evergreens, the understory, and deciduous, as well as providing the buffer on all sides of the project, in theory should provide that year-round screening across the entire perimeter of the solar array.
And you indicate in response to BDR 1-14 that the viewshed analysis was done with renderings of the landscape buffer at 0, 2, and 5 years of maturity.
That's correct.
Do you know when the number of years to reach full maturity is?
I believe our assumption is that's the 5-year, at which point they're considered mature.
But you don't know for sure.
Not at this time, and I think it's also depending on the species of the plant that's used, although I can't provide a definitive answer right now.
Is that something you are proposing to supplement with, the answer to that?
We can, Your Honor.
Okay. I'd like to know when the landscape buffer that's proposed in this case will reach full maturity, since there's a lot of testimony about what will happen when it reaches full maturity.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have Exhibit 19F in front of you?
I do.
Can you tell me what this is supposed to depict?
Yes, Your Honor, this depicts the location of proposed pollinator ground cover planting.
Where?
The gray transparent hatch across the entire solar array as well as the landscape buffer are the locations of the proposed pollinators. So in addition to the ground cover for the buffer, it's also proposed across the array area as a permanent form of stabilization.
Okay, so it, responses to bench data request 1-19, 1-20, and 21 and 22 all deal with the decommissioning plan. You sponsored these, correct?
That's correct.
And you stated that the contingency value was updated to 25% in the updated decommissioning plan as provided in attachment 1-19,
That's correct.
which is exhibit 19G.
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you show me where in exhibit 19G that is true?
Where the contingency is shown?
Yes.
It is the exhibit A of exhibit 19G, the decommissioning estimate without salvage. It's a table with prices, at the bottom of which there's a subtotal as well as a contingency of 25%.
So the total bond amount that the applicant would propose, or you would propose, would be the $844,372.60. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Looking at your response to bench data request 1-28.
Yes, Your Honor.
You state that applicant's conclusion that the historic site will not be impacted is based on the response from MHT dated December 5, 2024. That's the original in the ERD.
Yes.
Then you state potential effects were explored by coordinating with MHT.
Yes.
Upon receipt of this data request, additional information regarding the APE for the project was requested. MHT indicated that the APE used to assess the impacts of this project was defined as the parent property and surrounding properties, including those properties across Bloomfield and Lambs Meadow roads. Refer to this coordination provided as attachment 128. I just want to confirm that what you're referring to in your response is became exhibit 19L.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And in response to BDR 1-29, which you sponsored, you state that the applicant and project owner are not aware of anything that would prevent installation of landscape buffer before installation of any solar panel or other equipment. That's still your answer?
Yes, it is.
What would need to change as far as the plans to make that happen?
I'm sorry, what would need to change to...
Well, you have a site plan, right?
Yes.
Isn't there a contractor, wouldn't the contractor need some sort of note to know that they should install the landscape buffer first?
Yes, Your Honor, which is included in our major site plans to the county to be reviewed by Kent County. We have a sequence of construction within our erosion sediment control plans, which calls for installation of the landscape buffer to begin as soon as possible in construction following clearing of the site around the landscape buffer.
Okay, that's not something I have, correct?
No, it's not.
I'd like that, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
And your sponsored response to bench data request 1-32, stating that the applicant is currently coordinating the project's impact on the scenic byway with MDOT, SHA, RIPD. Any coordination or design changes that occur will be provided upon receipt.
That's correct.
Okay, can you tell me the status of that?
We have heard back from MDOT, SHA, RIPD. We can provide that coordination to Your Honor. They came back and said any site entrance will have to be paved. It was a standard response regarding solar commercial entrances into a site. And they advised that it would have to be submitted for SHA review for the receipt of an access permit, as for any project within an SHA right-of-way.
Okay, more specifically, though, I thought the State Highway Administration was, there's a letter that talks about their concern because the project's along a scenic byway. SHA encourages coordination with the State Highway Administration District 2 Access Management Office to develop a design approach that integrates architecture, site layout, landscaping, lighting, signage, and other elements that provide necessary functionality while maintaining and enhancing the byway's visual quality. I didn't expect that to be cleared up with a paved site entrance.
That's correct, Your Honor. We provided the feedback from Witness Lee's direct testimony to SHA, RIPD, the Regional Intermodal Planning Division. That feedback being SHA encourages coordination with SHA District 2 Access Management Office to develop a design approach that integrates architecture, site layout, landscaping, lighting, signage, and other elements. We provided that in our coordination, and all we received back was that the site entrance should be paved and that a full site plan submittal should be submitted to SHA for access permit review.
So how do you think the applicant is currently coordinating the project's impact on the scenic byway with MDOT, SHA, RIPD?
We provided them the feedback that we received from Witness Lee, hoping to open that channel of communication as to how they hoped for the design to be updated, including all the different design approaches listed. We just haven't received that specific feedback yet.
Just for so the record's clear, it's Lambs Meadow Road, that's a scenic byway, correct?
That's correct.
So is it your understanding that, given that designation, the project owner is required to mitigate the visual impact of this project on Lambs Meadow Road?
Yes, that's my understanding.
Any redirect?
One moment, Your Honor. None, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
The applicant's next witness will be Ms. Frances Uhas.
Good morning. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth for the testimony that you're about to give? And could you please state, spell your first and last name? Thank you.
Good morning, Ms. Uhas.
Good morning.
What is your position with Turning Point Energy?
I am a project manager with Community Solar Development.
Ma'am,
Could
you're
you
going to
please
speak into the microphone.
I'm sorry. Frances Uhas. My role at Turning Point Energy is Director of Development and currently the project manager for this project.
And how long have you been involved with the KE77 project?
Since its inception in 2024, we started development of this project.
Thank you. Let me direct your attention to applicant's Exhibit 9. And is this your amended direct testimony filed in this case?
Yes.
Was this document prepared under your direction and under your supervision?
Yes.
If I were to ask you the same questions today, would your answers be the same?
Yes.
And in your amended direct testimony, you indicate that you are sponsoring specific portions of the environmental review document in this case. Do you see that?
Yes.
And specifically, you were involved in assisted drafting or drafted in conjunction with others, sections 2.1, 2.5, 3.2, 3.3, 3.5, 4.5, 5.0 to 5.2, and 5.6 of the ERD. Is that correct?
Yes.
And also, you were involved in preparing certain attachments to the ERD, correct?
Correct.
And specifically, those were attachments 6.07, 6.16, and the decommissioning plan.
Yes.
I'd like to move applicant's Exhibit 9 into evidence.
Any objections?
No objection.
None from staff.
Applicant Exhibit 9 is admitted.
And I'd like to also direct your attention to applicant's Exhibit 10. Is this your supplemental testimony filed in this case?
Yes.
And was this document prepared at your direction and under your supervision?
Yes.
If I were to ask you the same questions today, would your answers be the same?
Yes, understanding that the limit of disturbance has changed.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to move applicant's Exhibit 10 into evidence.
Any objections?
No objection.
None. Thank you.
Applicant Exhibit 10 is admitted.
Right, going back to applicant Exhibit 1, please. And this is this the application for CPCN that was originally filed in this case?
Yes.
And did you review this document before it was submitted?
Yes.
And to your knowledge, were the statements made in the application accurate at the time it was submitted?
Yes.
I'd like to move applicant's Exhibit 1 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
None from staff. Thank you.
Applicant Exhibit 1 is admitted.
Applicant Exhibit 2 is the environmental review document filed with the CPCN application in this case. Do you see that?
Yes.
And did you review that document before it was submitted?
Yes.
And you were involved in preparing the sections that are referenced in your direct testimonies, correct?
Yes.
And to your knowledge, was that document accurate at the time it was submitted?
Yes.
And applicant Exhibit 3 is the appendices to the environmental review document, which were also submitted with the original CPCN application, correct?
Yes.
And you testified that you sponsored certain appendices that were included with that environmental review document, correct?
Yes.
And were those appendices correct to your knowledge at the time of submission?
Yes.
Applicant Exhibit 4 is an updated environmental review document and concept site plan that were filed in this case on August 6, 2025.
Yes.
And were you involved in reviewing that document before it was submitted?
Yes.
And particularly the sections that you indicated you were sponsoring?
Yes.
And were those sections accurate at the time it was submitted?
Yes.
Let me direct your attention back to applicant Exhibit 18, please. Is this second supplemental direct testimony that you prepared and filed in this case?
Yes.
And was this document prepared at your direction and under your supervision?
Yes.
And were the statements made here accurate at the time you submitted it?
Yes.
If I were to ask you the same questions today, would your answers be the same?
Yes.
Let me direct your attention specifically to page 4, starting with line 13 of that document, Exhibit 18.
Okay.
In this document, you indicated that the applicant was proposing some changes to PPRP's proposed licensing conditions. Do you see that?
Yes.
Is the applicant still objecting to PPRP's licensing conditions?
No.
So with respect to the question at line 13, Exhibit 4, would it be accurate to say the applicant is withdrawing any objection to PPRP's licensing conditions?
Correct. Less the corrections to minor typos and such.
Okay. Have you reviewed the licensing conditions that PPRP filed in this case as PPRP Exhibit 12 and 13, I believe?
Yes, I recall the licensing conditions.
Okay. And is the applicant agreeable to PPRP's most recent licensing conditions?
Yes.
Did you identify a couple typographical errors in those conditions?
Yes. Minor. Yes.
Okay, but the applicant agrees with the substance of PPRP's
Yes.
proposed
Yes.
licensing conditions? Okay, thank you. With that clarification, Are the questions and responses in your second supplemental direct testimony accurate?
Yes.
At this point, I'd like to move applicant exhibit 18 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
None.
Applicant Exhibit 18 is admitted into the record. Bless you.
I'd like to go back to ask you to turn your attention to applicant exhibit 19I. Actually, strike that. Let me just direct your attention to applicant exhibit 19 first. And these are the applicant's responses to bench data request number 1 in this case, correct?
Yes.
Were you involved in preparing certain responses to those questions?
Yes.
And are you sponsoring those responses that are indicated with your name in response to those bench data requests?
Yes.
And were those responses true and accurate at the time you helped to prepare them and submit them?
Yes.
And now let me direct your attention to applicant exhibit 19I. Which is the environmental review document. Says that the starting date is August 2025, but most recently updated June 2026. Do you see that?
Yes.
Were you involved in reviewing and preparing this document?
Yes.
Is this the most recent ERD for this project?
Yes.
And are you sponsoring the same sections as you indicated before to this environmental review document?
Yes.
Are those sections of the ERD true and accurate at the time that it was prepared and submitted?
Yes.
Let me ask you to take a look at what has been marked for identification as applicant exhibit 19F. Okay. And were you involved in preparing this document?
This is the site plan.
I believe it's the pollinator planting location plan. 19F.
19F is already in the record.
Okay. Exhibit 19G is the decommissioning plan in this case.
Correct.
And were you also involved in preparing the decommissioning plan?
Yes.
Please turn to Exhibit 19H.
Okay.
Are you familiar with this document?
Yes.
And what is this document?
This is the third amendment to the option and lease agreement that we have with the landowner.
Okay. And were you involved in preparing this document?
No.
Have you reviewed the document?
Yes.
And does this accurately reflect the current status of the agreement with the landowner in this case?
Yes.
I'd like to move applicant exhibit 19F into evidence. I'm sorry,
19F is
19H. Apologies.
Any objection?
No objection.
None.
Applicant Exhibit 19H is admitted.
Okay. I'd like to go back to applicant exhibit 5. Ms. Uhas, did you cause notices to be published on TPE's website and on social media accounts and in a local newspaper before the pre-hearing conference in this case?
Yes.
And is Exhibit 5 contain a true and accurate copy of the notices that you caused to be published for that pre-hearing conference?
Yes.
I'd like to move applicant Exhibit 5 into evidence.
Any objections?
No objection.
None.
Applicant Exhibit 5 is admitted.
And did you also cause notices to be published on TPE's website and social media accounts and in a local newspaper before all the public hearings and meetings in this case?
Yes.
Let me ask you to direct your attention to what's been marked as applicant Exhibit number 8.
Okay.
Does this document reflect true and accurate copies of the notices that you caused to be published for the initial public comment hearing in this case?
Yes.
I'd like to move applicant Exhibit 8 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
No objections.
Applicant Exhibit 8 is admitted.
Please turn to what's been marked as applicant Exhibit 13.
Okay.
Does this document contain true and accurate copies of the notices that you caused to be published for the community public meeting scheduled for April 1st, 2026 in this case?
Yes.
I'd like to move applicant Exhibit 13 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
No objections.
Applicant Exhibit 13 is admitted.
Please turn to what's been marked as applicant Exhibit 14.
Okay.
Does this document reflect true and accurate copies of the notices that you caused to be published for the evening public comment hearing in this case?
Yes.
I'd like to move applicant Exhibit 14 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
No objections.
Applicant Exhibit 14 is admitted.
Please turn to what's been marked as applicant Exhibit 17.
Okay.
Does this document reflect true and accurate copies of the notices that you caused to be published for the second community public meeting held on May 6, 2026 in this case?
Yes.
I'd like to move applicant Exhibit 17 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
No objections.
Applicant Exhibit 17 is admitted.
Let me direct your attention to what's been marked as applicant Exhibit 12. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And were you involved in preparing the responses to data requests from PPRP that are found in Exhibit 12?
Yes.
And are the responses where you're identified as the sponsoring witness a true and accurate copy of your responses to those questions?
Yes.
And were your responses true and accurate at the time that it was submitted?
Yes.
Let me direct your attention to what has been marked as applicant exhibit 20.
Your Honor, I'll be right back. I have no objection to any of these exhibits.
Okay. Sorry, it was hidden by a tab.
No problem. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay. Applicant exhibit 20, did you review this status update before submission to the public utility law judge in this case?
Yes.
And did this accurately reflect the applicant's position at the time that it was submitted?
Yes.
I'd like to move applicant exhibit 20 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objections.
Applicant Exhibit 20 is admitted.
And please turn to applicant exhibit 22.
Yes.
Did you review this status update before it was submitted?
Yes.
And does this status update accurately reflect the applicant's position at the time it was submitted?
Yes.
And specifically, in this document, you indicated that the applicant withdraws its previous objections to PPRP's licensing condition regarding decommissioning and was willing to comply with PPRP's proposed new licensing condition 37, requiring the applicant to request informal review from the U.S. Department of Defense Military Aviation and Installation Assurance Siting Clearinghouse before the start of construction.
Yes, and the request has been submitted.
I'd like to move applicant exhibit 22 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
None.
Applicant Exhibit 22 is admitted.
And you indicated you agree with the other licensing conditions proposed by PPRP in its exhibits 12 and 13 in this case.
Yes.
All right, thank you. With that, Ms. Uhas is available for cross-examination.
Any cross-examination of this witness?
No cross.
None.
Turning to applicant Exhibit 19H, which is the third amendment to option and lease agreement. Appears to be an agreement regarding something described as existing forested area depicted in Exhibit B1 of that agreement. Is that correct? Okay, when I look at Exhibit... Is your microphone still on?
Yes, Your Honor.
Exhibit B1 appears to be a small drawing.
Yes,
that-
Your Honor.
Okay, so does this exist in a different format such that someone could read any portion of it?
I can request a larger a larger
I
version.
mean, I just don't know how either the lessor or lessee would know what they were agreeing to based on Exhibit B1. It doesn't, it's completely illegible. I have no idea where this is
It
in the
also-
world, let alone with regard to the project.
And I believe it refers to the forest stand delineation.
Yeah, the agreement also refers to that. you recall where that is in the record? Oh, wait, Exhibit G, wetland delineation plan? Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, it's, the FSD is part of the wetlands delineation plan.
Okay, so in what's labeled as Exhibit G, wetland delineation plan, where does that depict the area that's referred to in the lease agreement?
I'd have to have that in front of me, but in general, it was intended to highlight the area that's on the Exhibit G second graphic of where the existing stand of trees is to the southeast of the property that were requested by PPRP to remain during the life of the project.
Okay, are you looking at Exhibit 19H?
Is that H?
It is H, and then for some reason it's titled Exhibit G. I don't know what it's Exhibit G to.
On the flip side of that, yes. But yes, also that area, the green area, and then it's also depicted on the flip side.
Okay, but what in the lease agreement would tell us the area on the wetland delineation plan that you and the lessor agreed to something about?
Other than it noted that it is located in the southeast corner of the property, noted as the existing forested area. Perhaps we can label it more clearly.
Well, like I said, I don't see how the parties to the agreement would know what they agreed to, based on the documents attached to the agreement.
Well, we did meet with the landowner and shared the documents and discussed them. It was clear to the parties of the conversation, but we can certainly make it more clear with specific labeling.
Okay, that would be
helpful.
whatever request we're up to, because it's since it's a agreement about land, it needs to be in writing. I can't tell what's been agreed to. I don't know. PPRP is apparently satisfied. I don't know how, but because you don't know from this what's been agreed to stay, I can't tell. Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
We'll take a break at this point. You're excused. You have how many more witnesses?
Just one more.
Okay. We'll come back. Would the parties like an hour for lunch?
Our last witness is Mr. Joseph Phillip. Do you anticipate significant questions for him?
No, but we have PPRP's witnesses. So
Oh,
we're
right,
gonna
yeah.
we're gonna take a break now.
Okay.
Half hour's fine with us, but if you need, an hour's fine too.
You have several witnesses, so you tell me.
We're
I'm-
okay with half an hour.
Okay, we'll be back at 12:30.
Okay,
We're
thank you.
in recess.
There's a Dunkin' Donuts like right behind. I want to say behind us. It's not behind. It's on. It's behind. It's
Is it where Java
It's
Juice used to be?
where Crown Center for Petroleum was.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know where that is.
Yeah, it's
The
on Charles
Blaustein
Street.
building.
The Blaustein, right? It's right in the Blaustein building.
Blaustein.
Right, that's what I call it, the Blaustein building.
Yeah.
It's one North Charles. There's. Oh, I know. What I forget to tell people is, okay, we're on St. Paul Street, right? Yeah. Right on across St. Paul Street. I think we're 6 and they're 7. There's a little cafe in there. It's just hard. It's where the comptroller treasurer
you go in the ground floor, there's actually a little cafe where they make sandwiches and soup. And it's, they're fast, you can get over there and get back.
Okay.
And we'll stay away until 12:30, right, Steve? We won't show back up.
I'm gonna be here.
teasing.
I'm gonna just hang, yeah.
I'm teasing, yeah. But it's hard for people coming from, yes.
Is it-
You know,
It's the judge's floor, so I don't know.
oh, yeah, here's the.
That's a good point, the elevator, so we have to be conscious.
One elevator.
Takes to get back through security and stuff. So, okay, all right, so we'll be really quick. Okay.
My computer would get stolen, so I wouldn't have to go back to work. Yeah.
I've been recycled many times. Anybody need a water or something? Do you all have, you have water? I've got water. You have water, okay, that's always good. Oh, you're welcome. Did you tell you? Yes. And that's small. I think he's like a dad. I mean, no, that actually diminishes.
No, I think you say that as a compliment.
It's, I mean, because I remember all those meetings, and remember, dial in, but if you come in person, I want brownies. I thought, oh, gosh, I drive to that.
That's right. Yeah, I just wanna look at the
Sure. Oh, it's too hard to pick. Sometimes which is like,
The last one we were doing the house tuition plan was the one from last November, so. But that isn't the critical part of my testimony, as I say, is I looked at it, and it covers everything that was in my, there was our version of decommissioning for TPE. So I don't think that she's gonna ask me to leave their current decommissioning, but I'm not gonna take it.
more than fine. Oh, I also green bars and snacks. I'm gonna get my my daughter and I ordered. We ordered in advance. Instacart. They deliver. Saved me 2 hours. Yeah, I thought. Yeah. Oh, you have allergies. Not an allergy. Oh, I mean. Yeah, and it's funny because how do you know what you're eating? Unless it's a non-set fruit. I don't know that, and then the lettuce. I mean, gosh, what's gonna happen about that?
Oh, gosh,
Okay,
yeah.
colleagues, I'll see you in a bit.
durian fruit. That was mild tasting, it was good.
I'm gonna talk to you guys for a little bit, and then I'm going to run because I still have to do stuff this afternoon. And I knew it would take maybe 3 hours, but I didn't expect this, so.
2 hours for 2 witnesses who are still marking exhibits.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta get the full commissioner to realize this. Look, you may haven't watched one of these videos.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what I wanted to say was what Pete Murphy did when you have someone else do a portion of the testimony, after it's been filed. They've never actually seen us do that before, but I'm sorry, Bob, I'll have to watch it on YouTube to go by remember.
It's all good. Way too much. We're rinky-dink case. They should have shut this relay solar down a while back. Just, just take out the CPCN.
Mm. Good.
Make everything DGs.
Mm.
Give them preemption without a CPCN. Just amend the law.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No?
Oh, thank you.
Ridiculous.
had pastures and all of that.
So this is statewide, the budget?
And honestly, I
Well, now
feel
it's
bad
impacted
for
to the
Drew,
VA.
but it's like, I'm gonna need to go to the bathroom.
Soon, yeah.
Of course, what they could do is get something a little more hiring freeze exception.
Good. I think cuts will be, it's just the start. This year's bad, next year's good. Yeah.
You may have to.
The CPCN.
I already have the mental note.
$500 to redo your car. Yeah.
So that.
Crank up everything. Family education programs we have in the state. Well, they say it can be bilateral anyway. Yeah, yeah, I would recommend. Do that, which is, yeah. I'm used to them now. Oh, really? My phone, I can turn them up, turn them down, but. Oh, really? Yeah. That's pretty cool. Well, good state insurance.
Hi, Joe.
Did I get,
Did you see my message?
Or retire.
maybe one elevator, it'll cut down on the workload, because they'll be getting older.
And I was just telling Bob that we have our executive director, Chris Tony Myers, who's like the smartest, fairest person in the world. He's like, just go dream bus. And I told him about 2 years ago, I said, you know, I'm now the unofficial shop steward for the professional employees who don't have a union access. And this isn't good. And maybe we joke around about it, but we have lots of issues. And we don't want to work remotely. We want to be here. You know, so it's bad. Nothing good can come out of it. I've suggested.
What's wrong with the building?
Well, there's so many, but everything's wrong, they don't repair it. It's DGS, so I've suggested, and I think you've heard me say, I've been recycled to every state, stay outside, city state agency, I've been everywhere, I've gone to the hills. The thing to do is to not pay the rent. I totally just joke, oh, we don't know talking about all you do. I've been in with governors and mayors, DGS, it isn't DPM part of it, I don't even care for it.
Giving you your address, am I right? Did I get it right?
It's an agency paying an agency. What do they do?
Okay, okay, good. Yeah, I'm sorry, I thought that I was responding to Lyle. Sorry, no, we have one hundred thousand to that.
It doesn't fall down.
Okay, I'll,
It's too much. I mean, the AC didn't work for weeks and weeks and weeks.
You're welcome.
I mean, it's just every.
It's in our building.
Yeah, oh, no, also, no.
It's everywhere.
It's every school.
Because they don't put in money.
They don't, and, you know, the DGS workers will tell you, what's going on. And, but yeah, no, it's terrible. It's terrible, but,
Well, we signed up for it.
oh, yeah, I mean, oh, yeah, I mean, but there's some extremes that aren't, you know.
It's 69 feet, and our building is 30.
I was just, 50 miles down. Right, yeah.
We burn heaters.
Yeah, no, I know that too, but it's, yeah, it's, I had a period of time where I was in the James and at least we just always joke around, you know, we know where we're going next. But, you know, everything was right temperature, and it was, everything was water, love the well-being stuff, everything. Oh, I have no.
Okay.
And I love it. We had, like I said, I mean, boy, it's like snake and gas. Oh, it was joking around. It was so nice to us. I was joking around. I'm not as nice to you as you love me. Anyway, I was just great. This is a, I am so lucky.
Hey, Bob, when you do the corrections.
Yes.
Use the exhibit numbers, you get that sheet.
Yes, I have, well,
So she
your
knows
sheet.
Yeah, so,
Um,
so she knows what we're talking about.
Yeah, I, did not print out that sheet, but I have the exhibit, I have the exhibit. So
Okay.
I was already prepared. Sure.
I turned it off my, because I wasn't sure if YouTube was running, so make sure you turn it off.
you're in a rate case, or some of these dockets that have 200 people in them, that's pretty nice. Just put them in the vault and prompt it, make a list of all the emails that you can insert. No, you only have one bar license.
But I did AI a couple of theories past year, and it gave me some ideas that I then took to Lexis.
Yeah.
Is there any case on this? And it wasn't right, but it got me closer to an idea that helped.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, obviously, didn't always.
We're ready to go back on the record?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, we're back on the record in case number 9799. Your witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The applicant calls Mr. Joseph Phillip.
Good afternoon. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in the testimony that you're about to give?
I did.
And could you please state and spell your first and last name?
Joseph Phillip, Joseph Phillip.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Phillip.
Good afternoon.
What is your position with Turning Point Energy?
I'm the Vice President of Engineering and managing the engineers on this project.
And are you familiar with the KE77 project?
I am.
What has been your role with respect to the project?
I have been managing Bob Malik as he's working on it and been working on the project as well.
Let me ask you to take a look at what we have had marked for identification as applicant exhibit 21 in the binder in front of you.
Okay.
Is this your direct testimony that was prepared in this case?
Yes.
And was this prepared by you or under your supervision?
Yes.
If I were to ask you the questions in applicant exhibit 21 today, would your answers be the same?
Yes, they would.
And in applicant exhibit 21, you indicate that you are sponsoring the testimony and data response requests that were previously sponsored by Bob Malik in this case, correct?
Yes.
And I think you indicated you were Bob's supervisor.
Yes.
Is Bob still with Turning Point Energy?
He is no longer with Turning Point Energy.
Thank you. At this point, I'd like to move applicant exhibit 21 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
None.
Applicant exhibit 21 is admitted.
All right. Let me ask you to turn to applicant exhibit 7. And this is the direct testimony of Bob Malik filed in this case, correct?
Yes.
And have you reviewed this document before today?
Yes.
And are you familiar with the questions and Mr. Malik's responses?
Yes.
Are you prepared to respond for all of the questions that Mr. Malik was asked in this direct testimony?
Yes.
And are you sponsoring all of the portions of the environmental review document and appendices that were previously sponsored by Mr. Malik?
Yes.
At this point, I'd like to move applicant Exhibit 7 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
None.
Applicant Exhibit 7 is admitted.
Mr. Philp, did you review the environmental review documents filed in this case
Yes.
and the different versions of them?
Yes.
Okay. And you indicated you're sponsoring the sections that were previously sponsored by Mr. Malik.
Yes.
And the applicant exhibit number 2 is the environmental review document filed on July 1st, 2025 with the initial CPCN application in this case.
Number 2?
Number 2, yes. And are you familiar with that document?
Yes.
And you are also sponsoring the ERD appendices that were previously sponsored by Mr. Malik in applicant exhibit 3.
Yes.
And also in applicant exhibit 4, which is an updated environmental review document that was filed on August 6, 2025.
Yes.
And also exhibit 19I, which is the most recent environmental review document. And sorry for jumping around.
That's okay.
Are you familiar with this document?
Yes.
And are you sponsoring all of the sections that were previously sponsored by Mr. Malik in this document?
Yes.
All right, at this point, I'd like to move applicants' exhibits 2, 3, 4, and 19I into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
None. None.
Applicant Exhibits 2, 3, 4, and 19I are admitted. What's your plan with regard to 19 itself?
Let me just ask a question about that. Were you also involved in, or have you also reviewed applicants' responses to data requests filed in this case that were previously sponsored by Mr. Malik?
Yes.
And does that include the applicant's responses to bench data request number 1, which was located in applicant exhibit 19?
Which?
Before the letters, just applicant exhibit 19 is the actual responses to the bench data requests.
Yes.
And are you sponsoring all of those sections previously sponsored by Mr. Malik?
Yes.
At this point, I'd like to move applicant exhibit 19 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
None.
Applicant Exhibit 19 is admitted.
And did you also review applicants' responses to PPRP's data requests in this case that are located at applicant exhibit number 12?
Yes. Yes.
And are you're familiar with those responses?
Yes.
And you're sponsoring those sections that were previously sponsored by Mr. Malik?
Yes.
At this point, I'd move applicant exhibit 12 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
None.
Applicant Exhibit 12 is admitted.
Let me direct your attention to applicant exhibit number 16. This is an applicant's response to Public Utility Law Judge request to show cause filed on May 1st, 2026, but includes an attachment from Delmarva Power. Are you familiar with that document?
Yes.
And are you familiar with the interconnection status of the current project?
Yes.
At this point, I'd like to move applicant Exhibit 16 into evidence.
No objection.
No objections.
Can you explain, the letter went to Scottsdale, Arizona? Is that his business address?
Yes.
What is your business address?
7272 East Indian School Road, Scottsdale, Arizona.
And did you review this letter before coming here today?
Yes.
And do you know what the current status of applicant's interconnection is?
Yes, we paid our 50% deposit in June of this year, and we have countersigned interconnection agreement with Delmarva. Now we are going into project execution.
And you paid the cost in response to this cost letter?
Yes, we paid that in May of 2026, so May 7th.
Applicant Exhibit 16 will be admitted.
And let me now direct your attention to Exhibit 19J. Are you familiar with this document?
Yes.
Were you involved in preparing this document?
Yes, I supervised Bob when he prepared this document.
And are you sponsoring this document in place of Mr. Malik?
Yes.
Thank you. I'd like to move applicant Exhibit 19J into evidence.
Any objection?
No.
None.
Applicant Exhibit J, 19J is admitted.
And please turn to applicant Exhibit 19K. Are you familiar with this document?
Yes.
And what is this document?
This document shows the observation points that were used in the glare study analysis prepared for.
And are you sponsoring this document, again, in place of Mr. Malik?
Yes.
Thank you. I'd move applicant Exhibit 19K into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
None.
Applicant Exhibit 19K is admitted.
All right. Okay. With that, Mr. Phillip is available for cross-examination.
If you turn to what was admitted as applicant Exhibit 19. You've now sponsored the responses to bench data requests 1-26 and 1-27, correct?
Yes.
Okay, in 1-26, the response, you state visibility is not fully eliminated until landscaping reaches mature height. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what's written.
Is that your testimony?
Yes.
And then in 1-27, your response fifth paragraph. In summary, glare can occur even when visual impacts are mitigated because mitigation reduces visibility but does not guarantee complete obstruction until landscaping matures. Is that your testimony?
That is a general statement, but in this case, from the study itself, we studied it at 4 feet when we at the initial planting for this specific glare study, so there would be no glare, or at least per the study.
But that statement is a true statement? In general?
Yeah, it's in general.
So would it be your testimony that mitigation in general is not achieved until complete obstruction at landscape maturity?
No, I would not say that.
What would you say?
I think you would have to study it and make sure that when there's the obstruction, not if you can see the modules or so, it's got to be by study and how the sun angles work. So this is more of a general statement.
So when is mitigation achieved?
In this case, we believe that it will be achieved on day one when the plantings are done at the 4 feet height.
For glare?
For glare, yeah.
What about visual impacts?
You will still be able to see some of the modules at 4 feet. I think that was showed in those renderings.
Okay, is there complete obstruction at landscape maturity?
I'm not 100% certain on that, but I believe so.
Would you need to?
I would need to defer to Chris on the renderings.
You just sponsored several exhibits which show observation points. The glare study observation points. These documents look familiar to you when I'm showing you?
Yes.
It would seem that many of the observation points are nowhere near the project. Is that true?
Yes.
So what's the purpose of those observation points that are nowhere near the project?
We try to study all observation points within a 3-mile radius of the array. It's what's been requested.
What is there a document which shows observation points in the vicinity of the project?
Yes. One of the ones that are in the vicinity of the project are, I think, throughout the grouping. So group 1 has the observation point 40. You can see that's like right next to the array. Then group 4 has the ones that are north and east of the array.
That are shown with yellow pins?
Yeah, that are shown with yellow pins. And I believe we only showed the observation points in these maps. There would be some along the road too as well.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Your excuse.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes the applicant's case.
Mr. Towson.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to first start off by marking for identification the 13 exhibits that are on the exhibit list that PPRP provided to everyone on July 21st of 2026. PPRP Exhibit 1 for ID is the direct testimony of Robin Lee, filed on April 9th, 2026, under mail log number 328860. PPRP Exhibit 2 is the secretarial letter signed by the Secretaries of DNR and MDE, also filed on April 9th of 26 under 328860. PPRP Exhibit 3 for ID is the initial recommended license conditions, filed on April 9th under mail log number 328860. PPRP Exhibit 4 is the project assessment report, filed on April the 9th under 328860. PPRP Exhibit 5 for ID is the project assessment report, Appendix A. Those are selected responses to PPRP data requests, filed April 9th of 26 under 328860. And PPRP Exhibit 6 for identification is Appendix B to the project assessment report, which is reference sections of PPRP's website, filed April 9th, 26 under 328860. PPRP Exhibit 7 is the direct testimony of Diane Mountain. That was filed on April 9th of 26 under mail log number 328860. PPRP Exhibit 8 is the supplemental direct testimony of Robin Lee of PPRP, filed on May 1st of 2026 under mail log number 329621. PPRP Exhibit 9 is the second supplemental direct testimony of Robin Lee, filed on June 12th of 26 under mail log number 331091. PPRP Exhibit 10 for identification is the third supplemental direct testimony of Robin Lee, filed on July 10th of 2026 under mail log number 331983. PPRP Exhibit 11 is the direct testimony of Robert Sidzinski, filed on July 10th of 26 under mail log number 331983. PPRP Exhibit 12 is PPRP's revised recommended license conditions in clean format, filed July 10th of 26 under 331983. And finally, PPRP Exhibit 13 for ID is the revised recommended license condition in red line format, filed on July the 10th, 2026 under mail log number 331983. And with that, I would call Robin Lee to the stand.
Leave that there. Thank you.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in the testimony that you're about to give?
I do.
Could you please state and spell your first and last name?
Robin Lee, Robin, last name Lee.
Thank you.
Ms. Lee, do you have in front of you the PPRP exhibits that I've just listed for identification?
I do.
With respect to PPRP exhibits 1 through 6, 8 through 10, and 12 and 13, were these prepared by you or under your supervision?
Yes,
Are they true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
yes,
If you were testifying under oath today as to the matters contained within, would your testimony be the same?
yes, it would.
Do you have any corrections or additions to make to these exhibits?
I do.
Please identify them for the record by exhibit.
In exhibit number 12, which is the revised recommended license conditions clean version, page 1, first paragraph, the date May 11th, 2027 should be corrected to May 11th, 2026. Same exhibit, exhibit 12, page 1, the definition of concept plan should reference to Comar 2019B13 should be corrected to Comar 2079-0102B13.
Do you have any other corrections or edits?
I do not.
Your Honor, at this time, I would like to move for admission into the record of PPRP exhibits 1 through 6, 8 through 10, and 12 and 13.
How do you propose to get a revised version of Exhibit 12 to me?
You can correct it in your proposed order based on the testimony that Ms. Lee's done, but if you would like us to do an additional filing, we will.
Can you send me the corrected Word version?
Yes, we will send corrected word as soon as this hearing's over.
Any objection to PPRP's Exhibits 1 through 6, 8 through 10, or 12 or 13?
No objection.
No objections.
And with that, I would tender the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, PPRP Exhibits 1 through 6, 8 through 10, 12 and 13 are admitted. Any cross-examination for this witness?
No cross from the applicant.
No cross for staff.
Ms. Lee, on page 13 of your direct testimony, you testified that the project is estimated to impact 48.5 acres of prime farmland soils within its limit of disturbance. You described its impact on the county's prime farmland soils as insignificant, constituting less than 1% of Kent County's total prime farmland soils. Do you recall that testimony?
I do.
Do you know what date that would be as of?
That would be as of the date that testimony was filed, which was April 9th, 2026.
Are you aware of other projects that may have been granted approval or under review that would similarly affect prime farmland in Kent County?
I am.
Do you have an idea about the acreage of those?
I do not off the top of my head.
Knowing about those other projects, would you still testify that the effect of this project cumulatively with those projects would constitute an insignificant impact on prime farmland soils in Kent County?
I do not have, I cannot reference the number at the moment. Without calculating the number, I would hesitate to make a characterization.
You familiar with the revised concept plan that closed the gap in the landscape buffer?
I am.
Do you concur with the applicant that now views should be eliminated entirely by the landscape buffer?
Once the buffer reaches maturity, believe that views will largely be obscured. It is difficult to say through the course of growth and so on whether it's absolutely 100% that you wouldn't see a flash of a panel in passing. However, at maturity, the height of the buffer would be expected to shield views of the site.
When do you think the landscape buffer, based on the applicant's landscape plan and the type of trees it's proposing, would reach maturity?
I do not have biological expertise on tree growth rates. So I don't know that I could answer that question.
Did you review the applicant's view shed analysis that included landscape renderings?
I did.
Did you believe that those landscape renderings were an accurate depiction of the landscape plan as you know it to be?
Based on the views I had of the project when the site visit was conducted, and both seeing the area, the surrounding area at that time, as well as some additional review using tools such as Google Earth Street View, they do seem to be reasonable representations, at least as far as what can be seen from publicly accessible street views.
Which are, I believe Mr. Martin testified, approximately 2,000 feet away. Is that what you?
That does sound correct.
So your testimony that the original view shed analysis that was done, which was more of a line drawing with a observation height of 3.5 feet, was sufficient view shed analysis under Public Utilities Article Section 7-218?
Public Utilities Article 7-218 does not include a definition of what a view shed analysis has to be. So, as PPRP reviewed what was submitted for this case, we worked with what was provided in terms of a view shed analysis. I have seen view shed analyses like those submitted for cases prior to this case that were not subject to PUA 7-218.
Just to confirm, this project is in a priority preservation area, correct?
Correct.
Is along a scenic byway, correct?
It is.
And there are historic structures or sites nearby?
There are.
Where are those located?
I do not believe I have that map in front of me. I know, let me turn to the part of my testimony that addressed those. Sorry, it takes just a couple minutes. On my testimony, direct testimony, page 32, starting at line 4, there are no documented historic sites on the project property, although there are identified sites on adjacent properties. It does not list the number.
You go on to state that the Maryland Historical Trust completed an assessment of the project and determined that the project will have no adverse effect on any historic properties, correct?
Correct.
Do you have knowledge as to how the Maryland Historical Trust determined that the project will have no adverse effect on any historic properties?
Based on my understanding, which is provided in part with the applicant's response to the bench data request on this question, was that the area of potential effect considered by the Maryland Historic Trust was the project site and surrounding properties.
Right. I got that they had an APE that included surrounding properties. How did they determine that the project would have no adverse effect on those historic properties in the surrounding area?
I do not have additional details on that.
Mr. Towson, I need to understand either from you or, I don't know the extent the applicant helped out here, but I don't know how the Maryland Historical Trust determined that the project would have no adverse effect on the historic properties in the APE that they identified, and that this witness does not know either.
Would you like us to treat that as a bench datum request and contact Maryland Department of Planning where MHT is housed and ask them, or?
That'd probably be a good idea.
Okay. That would be BDR1 for PPRP.
I can't
Or-
guarantee that I haven't already asked you a bench data request.
There was a bench data request one prior to this hearing.
So 2 maybe.
What can you tell me about the stories of the Chesapeake Heritage Area?
This is a heritage area which covers much of Kent County. PPRP did contact the heritage area and received a letter which I believe was provided as an attachment with,
It's attachment C to your testimony,
yes, thank you.
Appendix C. In that letter, the representative of the stories of the Chesapeake, a Ms. Gail Webb Owings, stated that standard landscaping is not sufficient to mitigate the potential impact to undermine the intrinsics resources important to our heritage area. Additional landscaping and other mitigation as suggested by Kent County is necessary to mitigate the impact of this project and the cumulative impact of other projects in the area. Is that what you see in that letter?
I do recall that line, correct, yes.
Would you say that you, PPRP, and the stories of the Chesapeake disagree?
Ultimately, yes. PPRP would like to point out a complicating factor that the letter from Ms. Owings refers to comments from Kent County that were made prior to and referenced Kent County requirements for landscaping, et cetera, that were made prior to the adoption of requirements related to PUA 7-218 that have now been factored into Kent County zoning requirements. So some of the standard zoning or some of the standard requirements she refers to and that the county refers to have been changed, such as the landscape buffers.
Did they get more stringent or less stringent?
They became less stringent. PPRP also notes that PUA 7-218 includes a statement of a maximum buffer width of 35 feet.
Actually, isn't it what it says? Is that a buffer or vegetative screening required under paragraph 2, Romanet 4, shall not be more than 35 feet wide. Isn't that what it says?
Correct.
And when you go back to 2, Romanet 4, aren't we talking about what the project owner is supposed to do? Do you think there's anything preventing the commission in requiring a larger landscape buffer based on the need for mitigation?
I am unclear on that point.
You indicated that the Kent County's landscape requirements became less stringent. She wasn't happy with how they were when they were more stringent, correct?
Yes,
She's not going to be happy now, right?
that would seem to be the case.
So can you give me any further support for your last statement in that section that says PPRP believes that the applicant has incorporated reasonable visual mitigation measures to protect the heritage area?
Because the applicant has proposed the 35-foot landscape buffer, which is the, as we read the requirements of 7-218, the maximum width of the buffer, in addition to the fact that the project is set back from the major public view, which is from the scenic byway, more than 600 feet, that reasonable attempts have been made to mitigate the view shed effects. It is unclear whether a wider landscape buffer would improve the screening of the project.
It's at just 35 feet wide, though, right? There's other requirements.
There are requirements, I believe, for minimum height at planting of 4 feet and 4-season screening, multi-story screening, I believe.
4-season visual screening, mixture of evergreen and deciduous vegetation, predominantly native to the region, more than 4 feet in height at planting, designed to provide screening or buffering within 5 years of planting. So did you review the applicant's landscaping plan for all of those requirements?
We did.
Did you also attach the letter from the State Highway Administration to your testimony?
I believe I did. I am looking for it. Unfortunately, I do not see that appendix. Take a look here.
Should be the same
Right,
attachment C to your
right.
testimony.
And I apologize, I do seem to be missing that appendix.
Mr. Towson, you don't have a copy?
I will double check. Is it attached to your original direct?
Yes. I do have my computer available and can pull it up if need be.
Okay. Yes, I do have it. May I approach the witness?
Please. So can you read to me the first bullet point in the email to you of March 25th, 2026? Starts out, "Good morning, Robin."
This segment of Maryland 298 Lambs Meadow Road from Maryland 213 to Maryland 666 is along the Chesapeake Country Scenic Byway. Although future improvements within this parcel should not directly impact the byway's defining cultural and natural resources within the vicinity. The SHA encourages coordination with the SHA District 2 Access Management Office to develop and design a design approach that integrates architectural site layout, landscaping, lighting, signage, and other elements that provide necessary necessary functionality while maintaining and enhancing the byway's visual quality, specifically SHA District 2.
And then there's some resources,
Sorry.
right?
Sorry.
Contact information and for further
Yes.
scenic byways resources, the overview and things like that.
Yes.
Okay, so in your experience, and as PPRP represents the Maryland Department of Transportation State Highway Administration is one of the entities that you provide testimony on behalf of, is that correct?
Yes.
So in your experience, what should happen here based on these comments?
That the applicant should communicate with the MDOT, SHA, to receive any comment that they have with regard to the site plan.
Okay, and what is State Highway Administration looking for here?
Coordination is my reading.
Okay, in your experience, has State Highway Administration ever made recommendations regarding a design approach that integrates architecture, site layout, landscaping, lighting, signage, and other elements?
I have not personally seen that.
So you have no idea what State Highway might be looking for in terms of site layout and landscaping to take care of the impact on the byway?
I do not in detail know.
State Highway Administration division of it has responsibility for the scenic byway, is that correct?
That is my understanding.
Any redirect?
No redirect.
Okay, thank you.
PPRP would next call Diane Mountain to the stand.
Good afternoon. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth for the testimony that you're about to give?
Yes, I do.
Would you please state and spell your first and last name?
Diane Mountain, that's DIANEMOUNTAIN.
Thank you.
Ms. Mountain, do you have in front of you what has been marked as PPRP Exhibit 7 for identification, which is the direct testimony of Diane Mountain, filed on April the 9th, 2026, under mail log number 328860.
Yes, I do.
Did you prepare this testimony, or was it prepared under your supervision?
Yes,
Is it true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
yes,
If you were testifying under oath today as to the matters set forth therein, would your testimony be the same?
yes, they would.
Do you have any corrections or edits to make to your testimony?
I just have one clarification that on page 8 of my testimony, it states that I have reviewed the most recent revised decommissioning plan filed by the applicant on November 20th, 2025, which was true as of the date of filing the testimony. I recognize that they filed an updated decommissioning plan, which I have not reviewed.
All right. Do you have any other corrections or edits?
No, that's all.
With that, I'll tender the witness, Your Honor. And I would like to move for admission of Exhibit 7 into the record.
Any objection?
No objection.
No objections.
PPRP Exhibit 7 is admitted into the record. Any cross-examination of this witness?
No cross.
No cross.
You haven't reviewed the most recent decommissioning plan, you said.
That's correct. The purpose of my testimony was to provide technical background on PPRP's draft decommissioning agreement, and that was the purpose at the time that the testimony was filed.
Okay, I don't know if you heard the testimony earlier, but it seems as though we might have a timing issue in that the applicant testified that it is proceeding with Kent County in the site development review process.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Mr. Martin told me that they've submitted something to Kent County to start the site development review process.
To start?
The site development review process.
Okay.
So I take it from that there might come up on the issue, I guess, that's envisioned in Mr. Sadinsky's testimony, which is that the commission might not yet have approved a decommissioning agreement form template for this particular applicant to use.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm trying to understand then the effect of your testimony because you testified on page 9.
Right.
You stated that if the PSC adopts PPRP's draft decommissioning agreement as it currently stands, the applicant would need to accept that additional language by completing and submitting the decommissioning agreement in accordance with the decommissioning recommended license condition. So I guess what do you envision happening if there's not a decommissioning agreement that can be used?
Under the current PPRP recommended license condition, the applicant will have to file a decommissioning plan or decommissioning agreement that comports with the final version of the commission's decommissioning agreement form.
How about the amount of the proposed bond? Did you review any?
My
cost estimate in this
testimony
case?
specifically said I did not review the decommissioning cost estimate in
So you-
detail.
So you have no opinion on the proposed bond amount in this case?
Correct.
Any redirect?
No redirect, Your Honor.
You can step down.
And our third and final witness would be Mr. Robert Sidzinski.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth for the testimony that you're about to give? I do. Could you please state and spell your first and last name?
First name is Robert, R-O-B-E-R-T. Last name Szynski, S-A-Z-ynski.
Mr. Sudzinski, do you have in front of you what's been marked as PPRP Exhibit 11 for identification, which is the direct testimony of Robert Sudzinski filed on July 10th, 2026 under mail log number 331983?
Yes, I do.
Did you prepare this testimony, or was it prepared under your supervision?
Yes.
Is it true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
If you were testifying about those matters today under oath, would your testimony be the same?
Yes.
Do you have any corrections or edits to make to your testimony?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
My first one would be on page 2, line 22, where it states a date of July 1st, 2015. That date is incorrect. It should be July 1st, 2025. My second correction is on page 5, line 20, which it says in the first sentence, the second requested. It should say the third requested. My third correction would be page 8, line 23. Case number is incorrect. It should be case number 9873. And my last correction would be on page 9, line 2. Also, the case number is incorrect. It should be 9873. Those are my only corrections.
At this time, Your Honor, then I would move for admission of PPRP Exhibit 11 into the record.
Any objections?
No objection.
No objections.
And
PPRP Exhibit 11 is admitted.
I'll tender the witness.
Any cross-examination for this witness?
Did you want the, never mind. No cross.
No cross.
So I'm just trying to understand how we think things are going to operate if there's not a decommissioning agreement. I see that you revised the license conditions to, I guess, attempt to deal with that possibility.
That is correct.
Just wanted to clarify. So you have inserted, in the event that the decommissioning agreement is not available from the PSC, the project owner shall file a decommissioning plan and cost estimate approved by the county if the county ordinance requires approval of the decommissioning plan in the docket, with a request that the PSC's Public Utility Law Judge Division issue a notice of approval thereof. Do you know what the county ordinance currently requires?
I do not.
I think there have been instances lately where a county doesn't necessarily have a ordinance or zoning requirement that requires approval, but they are able to approve the decommissioning plan through their site development review process. Does that sound familiar?
Vaguely. I don't really do cases anymore.
Okay.
So sorry.
So I guess I'm thinking we need to play with this language a little bit. It's not so much that if the county ordinance requires approval, but it's if the county has a means to approve it, right? Does that sound reasonable?
Yes, it does.
But then you're stating that PPRP shall file testimony indicating whether the proposed decommissioning plan or decommissioning agreement, if available, comports with its recommendations. So you would propose to file testimony about whether the decommissioning agreement comports with PPRP's recommendations?
No.
Okay. So we need to modify that language too?
Yes, please.
Okay. And similar with, as Witness Mountain indicated, PPRP has no position on the bond amount that's proposed in this case.
Not that I'm aware of.
Any redirect?
No redirect, Your Honor.
You can step down. Thank you.
Thank you.
You have a witness here today? You don't, do you?
No, he's, oh my goodness. No, he's down at that 9353. But the other party stipulated to the admission of his
Oh,
direct. Would you
okay.
like to do that? Get that in?
I think that we should complete the record with staff testimony, yes.
And that's Staff Exhibit 1. Oh, pardon me. That's Staff Exhibit 1, the direct testimony of Christopher Lowe.
So marked.
The parties can tell you that they agreed to stipulate to the admission without
I
a
do.
witness
I'll
here.
take your representation.
Thank you.
So staff exhibit 1 is entered into the record by stipulation.
And, Your Honor, do you want to enter in the staff's response to the bench data request number 3, or do you want to?
I do.
Yeah, okay. And I didn't ask the parties about it at the time. We hadn't, I didn't know how you wanted to handle it, but did they want to stipulate or they want to agree?
We
to
have
it?
no objection.
Without a witness
No
here.
objection, we
And
agree.
you had that marked as staff exhibit?
2. Yes, thank you. That's response to bench DR 3. It was labeled.
Okay. Staff exhibit 2 is also admitted.
Thank you.
I was going to ask Mr. Lowe if he was here, but I think we've got it. The applicant represented that the project complies with the county's requirements with regard to impermissible overhead electric lines. I was interested to see whether Mr. Lowe agreed with that state representation.
Would you like me to see if he's finished? Because I don't know if the reliability hearing's finished. I don't know when to hold you up. I can text him.
Okay, why don't you do that?
I just texted him, Your Honor. I'm also just going to look at the YouTube and see if the proceeding is done. Thank you. Your Honor, we just were informed by Roger Austin that he'll be here in a moment.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Your Honor, may I ask the court reporter to ask Christopher Lowe to take the stand and ask that he be sworn in by the court reporter? Mr. Lowe, please go ahead and take the stand. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in the testimony that you're about to give?
Yes, I do.
And could you please state and spell your first and last name?
My name is Chris Lowe, C-H-R-I-S, last name Lowe, L-O.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Lowe. There was a comment from Kent County in this case that had to do with no overhead electric lines going across the road. You familiar with that comment?
I wasn't, but now I.
Now you are. Okay, the applicant represented that the project complies with all county requirements. I think that they are taking the position that the county's requirement has to do with no transmission lines over the road, and that's where they're drawing the distinction. Do you know if, in this case, how the interconnection is happening?
Well, first of all, the transmission line has to satisfy some national safety code, NESC. So even though there's a line going across an area, but the requirement is that height between the ground and the line has to meet the NESC, the National Electric Safety Code. So if the developer satisfy that requirement, and I don't have the exact provision for that because I just top of my head, I don't remember it.
Okay, but did you know if the interconnection is happening via an overhead line in this case?
I believe some portion is overhead, and I'm not entirely 100% sure that whether the entire section is overline or overhead or it's some portions underground.
So you don't know whether a portion of the line is
Or
overhead
which
across?
exactly the location, which section is overhead or which is underground.
So you don't know if there's a portion of line that crosses over Lambs Meadow Road to make the interconnection?
Well, again, I don't remember the exact location or which section of the transmission line that going across.
So I would ask, as a bench stat request, what portion of, is there a line that crosses over Lambs Meadow Road? And if there is, which I believe there is, how staff would characterize that line? Would it be a distribution line or transmission line? And how would that relate to the county's requirement that there be no overhead lines?
That would be a distribution line. It
It would be
depends
a
on the
distribution line.
voltage, yes.
Okay. But you're going to clarify for me, Ms. Herman,
Yes.
that the county requirement can't be a transmission line, and so since this is a distribution line, it meets the county requirements?
We sure will. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You don't have any redirect, do you?
No, ma'am.
You can step down. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. No other witnesses? All right. We are adjourned.
I just clarify the items on which you want bench data requests from the applicant. I've written them down. I just like to confirm.
Go back on there. Go ahead.
So I guess this would be bench data request 2-1 has to do with the applicant exhibit 19I, the view shed exhibit, and the clarification of the brown the brown item on the view shed depiction and the building, what the building is. Bench data request 2-2, you asked us to clarify when the trees proposed in the landscape buffer reach full maturity. 2-3 would be, you asked for a copy of something showing the sequence of construction, showing that the applicant is proposing to install including a note to install the landscape buffer first in the process.
Yeah, specifically, he talked about the erosion and sediment control plan already having that, I think.
Yeah. And 2-4 would be, you asked for clarification to applicant exhibit 19H, which was the land lease agreement exhibit B1, something that it shows that it's bigger and more legible to clarify exactly what that agreement pertains to. Was there anything else that I missed?
With regard to what you're going to do with 2.1 and the viewshed analysis, tell you my opinion is that the viewshed analysis in this case is not sufficient for several reasons. I don't believe the observation height of 3.5 feet is sufficient. I don't believe the distances at which the viewshed is taken from in the either analysis is anywhere close to sufficient. It's too far away. Almost half a mile away is not close enough. I don't think the original view shed analysis would be a sufficient view shed analysis, the line drawing that was done. So I don't know how you want to deal with that, but that's my opinion. Then you have the issues with what was done. Okay,
All right, so noted. Thank you, Your Honor.
thank you. Now we're adjourned, off the record.
Off the record.